everybody. I welcome you back to the garden, and we're going to try to take some advantage of what Joni had to share with us last week. And I want to start down here at the chicken coop because that's where our fertilizer comes from. Plus you can see some places where we are going to have tomatoes. But let me show you something that surprised me the other day. Peas are not normally known as a cold weather vegetable, but look how far along this pea pod is. This is a snow pea, and you can already see the pods in the plant. So it's flowered. There's the flower, and once it flowers it produces fruit. We're ahead on our gardening season, and we'll be planting some tomatoes today. So let's go up to where we're really going to do our planting. We've been asked to stay home, but that means we can learn at home, right here in our backyard. So we're going to start with our garden. We're going to start our garden this week. I'm going to put in some plants, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Hopefully you'll get inspired to do your own backyard garden based on what Joni Torres has shared from the community garden. Let me introduce you to Intrepid. So Intrepid is a collard plant that lived over the winter, and Intrepid's gone to seed. You can see some of the seed pods here, and I put a mesh because we don't want whitefly or the cabbage moth to lay eggs on Intrepid because the leaves will all get perforated. Now I'm going to take you over to see where we're going to start the garden, and you'll see it later in the day. This is Junior Intrepid, almost Intrepid. He's also weathered over from the garden. You can see we've had him covered up, and the garden's kind of sad now. We've had a lettuce plant that weathered over and another collard plant, and all these bags are full of wood chips because that's what we're going to use for mulch. So I need to get busy and start work on this garden and show you how it's done. Have a great day. So we're getting ready to start turning the soil. I'm kind of excited about it. The train's excited about it. You can hear it in the background. And so what we'll do now is I'll turn the soil, and we've decided to leave the plants in for one more night because it's going to be in the low 40s. So all these plants can go back in under cover so they don't get hurt, especially the tomatoes. And then tomorrow we'll put them in the ground and you'll see all about it. So I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. We got a little behind, and the reason is a couple of things. Number one is I found a fire ant colony. So I dug down about 18 inches and put hot water, boiling hot water, in the hole. And then tonight before it's dark, I'll get the rest of the mulch down. So this is the shavings from the shop floor, wood, just miscellaneous wood shavings. I took all of the weeds that I had accumulated as I raked through the garden and traded them with the chickens. Now I have some chicken earth, and they have some plant earth, and they'll be pleased with that tomorrow because they'll pick through it and get the seeds out. So hopefully they'll get all the weed seeds out. So tomorrow morning I'll show you what we've got, and I'm pretty excited about it. Have a great night. So it's planting day, and we're going to get started by taking off some flowers. So we've got some flowers that are growing out from under the moth net. This is the cabbage moth that is going to attack our collard plant, Intrepid, if we're not careful. And I'm going to be careful because I don't want to cut the net. But there's several places that will cut off the flowers, and then we'll save the seed from the flower for next year, since Intrepid has been such an amazing plant. So if we come up further into our garden, then we'll see we've got the same thing over here. With our broccoli. So I've got a little jar for broccoli, and I've got one for lettuce, and we've got a lettuce coming in as well as one going for seed. And then we even have a kale going for seed, so we may yet have another jar of seeds for next year. Now the main thing I'm going to do today, and it looks like all the tomatoes were happy last night except for this fellow, is that I'm going to plant these guys, and I'm going to plant them really deep. Even with these stems that you see here, what are called leggy. When a plant gets leggy like this, I'll plant this tomato so only this much will stick out. And the reason is that everything below, since tomato is a vine, everything below the earth will turn into a root. and that'll make the plant stronger. It has to support itself. And I'll also put a collar around each one of these for two reasons. Number one is that it shows you what you can do in recycling, and it shows you how you can create a funnel to water in the summertime when the water is not as prevalent as it is right now. We've been getting a lot of rain, but we won't in the summer, and that way I'll be able to water and know exactly where the plant is, and I can also weed around it. You see, we got all the mulch in last night, and the plants are ready to go, and so am I. So I'm going to take a break and do some work, and I will see you in a while when we got some plants in the ground. So we had a lot of tomatoes, and they're all in the ground, and they all have their cups around. And we've repackaged Intrepid. He has screen around him all the way down to his base so that the cabbage moth doesn't lay her eggs on the main stem of the plant. So each one of these now has a little cup, which helps me know that it's not a weed, and I can identify it as a plant that we need to save, and that I can also water the plant. So I've watered the plants. Since they are a little tender when they get transplanted, you need to really put a lot of water on them so they get a lot of minerals and start their journey to be in the bed long term. So this is the rest of what was planted. You saw it earlier today, but now it has the cups and the screens around. And I discovered our ant friends are back, so we still have fire ants, and I'm still working on those, and that's the news from the garden. So next week we're going to go over to our friends and the ones that we don't want in the garden. The ones that we're going to focus on are butterflies, but we'll also deal with some other friends, and we want hotels, and we'll build those for our garden next week. Have a great week.